Okay, I think it's working now. Can y'all let me know if it's working? Looks like my camera's not working this morning. Okay, I think it's working now. If y'all can hear me, let me know. I think I fixed the audio issue. Not sure why my webcam's not up yet, but no biggie. No biggie. Okay, good. Working. Jeez, that was complicated. Okay, let me get my screen set up how I need them now. I had to restart it. So anyway, it looks like I was having I'm having a few issues this morning, but internet was one of them. So sorry for being late today. Um, I did look at all the alerts from this morning, and there was not much action. So it doesn't seem like I missed much. Um, Obviously, this initial spike uh, for WLDS would have been nice to play, but besides that, I haven't seen a whole lot of action this morning. So hopefully we'll get some PRs dropping here shortly, and we'll have some interesting plays. But as of right now, um, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot going on. Just WLDS. And it technically has fallen below VWAP. So if it bounces back up to this 250 range I'm adding, and especially in this like 290 range here, there's not enough like meat on the bones for me. $1.55, 215. I mean, it could be a 50 cents move. It falls back, but with this being the only thing moving this morning, I don't want to get too low of an entry, so I'm going to wait for it to pop up some before I consider entering this play. But I will definitely look to jump into this play at some point. I haven't looked at the locates. Are they outrageous? Oh, there's no shares available. So I might play this if shares become available, but as of right now, I won't be. But there'll be some more tickers that pop up this morning. Am I missing anything? Does anybody else see any plays they're looking at? Because it looks like the next top gainer above $1 is OMEX, and it's only up 20%. So not interested in that. If it's your first time joining, hello, thanks for hopping on. I short small caps that pop, fade below VWAP, but I don't enter unless it is up at least 50%, ideally 100%, because I want enough like meat on the bones to make it worth it. So yeah, we're getting a little bit of a pop with WLDS, but like I said, there's no locates right now, or it's not letting me on TradeZero get any. And TradeZero is usually pretty good. They can get locates when a lot of other people can't get them, so there must not be any available right now. So you played ABEO this morning? Let me pull it up. Didn't even hear about that one. You make any money? Oh, nice. Yeah. So it went up to 667, then down to back down in 560 range. ABEO. And I'll go over some of the top plays from yesterday too, because there's a lot of good plays that we got to play. And I posted a little video too about some of the plays, but this was one of the probably the top plays of the day. And I did alert this one. It was a little early, but look at this beautiful, beautiful play. IVF shot up in pre-market because of the ticker name change. I love when stocks pop like this for no reason, when nothing changes about the company. Then it falls below VWAP, struggles to come back. It actually broke a new low of the day. So it doesn't get much better than that. Nice, good job. Alex, 68 bucks on it. IOEN, was that the ticker name from yesterday? I'm bad. I always forget these ticker names the next day. INEO. INEO. Another play that was very similar, pre-market pop, and then just faded all day. And obviously, I look to take most of my profits around the 200 moving average. So this was another nice play. I'll connect that later. I already forgot about this play. GLMD. That was from yesterday too. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Another one that just pops and then faded the entire day. So hopefully we'll get some opportunities like that today. Let me see if there's a few I'm missing. And I ended up trading UPC yesterday. I did alert this one to the group. This one was a little bit more tricky, but made decent on this one as it made a new high of 690, and then I kind of just played it back and forth. There's kind of a war going on here at 650, so every time it would pop, I would enter, and then I finally held it, and when it broke through VWAP, wrote it down yesterday, made a little bit on that one too. So there was quite a few opportunities, even intraday, with nice little pops like this. So expecting to get some more today, but as of right now, all I can see is WLDS. Feel free to drop any tickers that you want me to look at in the chat, especially if something pops. My scanner, I use Trade Ideas, and it works well, probably 80% of the time, 90% of the time, but it does miss some tickers. I'm not really sure why. Have my parameters set, but it misses sometimes. And I always get asked a lot about my parameters and my alerts. So it's pretty simple. I just look for in 1 minute, 15% move, $100 million market cap or less, and at least 20,000 shares traded. So obviously I don't jump in on that move unless it's up about 50 plus percent, but I do like it at least on my radar. So, but anyways, nothing's moving right now. I'm gonna try to work on fixing my camera, see why it's not working. My audio started working, but now my camera's not. So just give me a second. If the scanner goes off like it did quite a few times yesterday, I will say it out loud and we can pull it up. So give me just a second to figure out my camera. So my webcam's not working, but it looks like I'm getting I can get this camera to work. So we'll roll with this today, the one from the laptop. But yeah, again, sorry for the delay this morning. It's been kind of a technical issues kind of day. But thanks for hopping on, and we'll find some cool plays here soon. 7:30 to 9:30, usually a lot of action. So I'm hoping we see some pretty good PRs. But ask if you have any questions, let me know, or if there's any other plays you want to review for tomorrow that we played yesterday. Most of them are pretty straightforward. Oh, I can't even bring up PRTG. PRTG. This is another beautiful play from yesterday. Man, that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And can you see why I like when they fall below VWAP? They always struggle to come back above it. And sometimes they break new highs. I'm not gonna say that they never do after falling below VWAP, but they usually have a hard time. And I'll enter probably close to half my position when they fall below VWAP, and then when they pop back up to flirt with this $15 level, I will add to the position to increase my average and write it down to the 200 moving average. They play out like this very, very often. Played in AAS yesterday. We might have I think I caught this one on the live stream. Yeah, we did. And I know I entered it and a few of y'all entered this one as well. I saw it in my free circle group where a few of y'all entered it. I don't really have much of a volume criteria, Alex. I just want to make sure it's liquid. Like, sorry, hold on a second. Now it's saying my video is acting sketchy, but whatever. Um, my I don't really look at the volume too much. I like for it. So I used to wait for 1 million shares traded before I would enter it. Now, as long as it's somewhat liquid, I will enter it. And I know that's broad, but I've entered stocks that have, if the pop was nice enough, as long as it had 6 figures worth of shares traded, aka 100,000 shares traded, I will enter it. So 1 million is ideal, but if something pops 300% in a 1 minute candle or 5 minute candle, then I don't really care too much if it only has 100,000 shares. But um, I do like for it to at least get to 100,000, especially if it's a tiny low float, because once it does get to 1 million, it can start obviously pumping. last time I asked for feedback, but is the camera, audio, is everything working? Because I have an error message on my side. It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. But yeah, Alexander, that's a good question. You'll learn I keep this strategy super simple. Like even when it comes to the float volume, I just look at the technicals on it whenever it pops, and if there's a lot of range on it that I think I can make money, I'm interested. Especially if it falls below VWAP and the risk versus reward is there. You know what I mean? Like, um, so. I don't get too caught up in the float either. I know a lot of people talk about float. It's something to pay attention to for sure. Float size, because low floats can blast off. Don't get me wrong, but again, I will not ignore a small float um, just because it doesn't meet a certain criteria. I don't discriminate unless it's over $100 million market cap, and then I'm usually not interested. Even though I did trade HTZ because I bought some puts on it. I don't do much options, but I did buy a put on HTZ. But this is why I don't really short them, because they maintain their gains pretty well. Anyways, let's keep an eye on W8. Oh, did I pull up the right ticker? No, I did not. WLDS. Yeah, this probably wouldn't be a bad entry where it's hitting VWAP, but there's no locates. Oh, I just got some. Now it's letting me. They're cheap too. $4 for 1,000 shares. So if this does this, I went ahead and got 1,000 shares of WLDS. So if this does pop in the 250 range, I'm going to be interested. I'm probably going to set up a short order there now, actually. Small position if it shoots up to 245, and then a bigger position if it wants to flirt with this like 95 high. So I'm gonna set up another one at 289, probably 88, 288, and I'll enter a little bit heavier there to make it prove it can break a new high. And I'll get my TradeZero linked in, so if I do enter the position, you'll be able to monitor it with me. Yeah, it could tank off this VWAP rejection right here and just keep going down. And so there's probably money to be made right now, but as I mature as a trader, I try to only take good entries. So if I jump in now at 212 and then it decides to bounce up to 250, 260 again, my average isn't going to be great. So I'm just going to wait to see if it makes another bounce. But even this entry probably isn't terrible. So very small order set at 245, a little bit bigger one set at 259, and a larger order at 288 is what I'm rolling with. It's weird it said no locates earlier, and now they're cheap, but I'll take it. I will take it. And it's not showing my watch list today, but that's all right. Beggars can't be choosers. Yeah, we had an internet outage in this area, and I'm actually surprised that it came back as quick as it did. So HIMZ is up. Oh yeah, I'm looking for an entry here. HIMZ. Oh, never mind. I thought this was, no, this is a, no, this is not what I thought it was. But I actually might still play this, but this is far from what I usually play. This is like an ETF, so never mind. Disregard that one. HIMZ. It's one of these 2x long plays. It didn't hit my scanner, I just saw it. So what does it track? Why did it all of a sudden bounce like that? Yeah, I'm not sure why that leverage ETF is popping, but oh, I see what you're saying. It's leverage ETF of HIMS, which is popping right now. Got it. They have their own leverage ETF. It's so weird. Anyways, back to WLDS. As you can see, that VWAP rejection might not have been a bad entry, but I didn't want to force it. So, see what it does. I have a feeling when there's some PR drops and attention gets pulled away, WLDS will probably fade away because it's looking weak already. We had such a hot day yesterday. I'm hoping we get some good opportunities here shortly. I'm actually in, well, shouldn't even be telling people I entered this position, but I entered that leverage ETF on that pop. um, I'm up about I'm up a little bit. I might just cover because this is not my type of play. So I'm out now. But yeah, no, I hope WLDS, unless y'all have a position already, I hope it pops a little more. Even if it just gets in that 250 range, I'll look to enter a small position. But I'm not going to force conversation, so I might mute until something appears. If you have any questions, let me know. But as of right now, just kind of keeping an eye on WLDS. I don't have an entry yet. If it gets up to the 245, 250 range again, I will be looking for an entry. And my stock screener will alert us if anything pops that meets the criteria I have set, and I will let y'all know if I see something. But as of right now, it's a little unexciting. Test, test, test. HIMS, obviously I'm not interested in this one because of its market cap size, but it is booming. Look at this, crazy. Yeah, right. They've been working on some weird commercials. Do they have earnings, I assume? No, the earnings isn't until 5/5. Let's see. Him and Hers and Novo Nordisk team up to expand affordable access to care to make proven obesity care and treatment more accessible, more affordable, and more connected for millions of Americans. What does that entail? I usually don't short things this large a market cap, but that sounds like some fluff, weak news. I mean, like, so they announced obesity care collaboration. I want to follow my rules and not enter this, but this seems excessive. This feels like it's up excessively. Got it, which is basically Ozempic. Still feels weak though. I mean, there's no numbers mentioned that I could find. And that's assuming it's successful. But interesting, interesting, interesting. That is the big thing right now. I think this one will come back down a little bit though, but I'm not going to be the one to write it out. WLDS still looking weak. Wish I would have entered at the VWAP, but that's okay because I think it might still bounce. It's going down, I mean, at some point, but it still could bounce if nothing else runs this morning, which would be very disappointing. The longs will kind of be forced to day trade this one. Nothing else is really moving, but ZVSA just hit my alert. It's at 91 cents. I can't enter it until it's $1. I set my alerts to let me know. I always say $1, but it's actually 90 cents to $15. The reason why I do 90 cents is because I want it on my radar before it gets to $1. Because sometimes when it hits $1, that's a tough psychological level. It'll fail there. I hope ZVSA gets there, but it's looking a little weak.
WLDS TVGN
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to get to $1, but I'll keep my eye on it.
ABEO.
Wow, ZVSA gave back all of its gains. So it's already died. So let's go back to WLDS. I'm surprised we haven't seen more press releases this morning. Morning. Hello. Thanks for hopping on. So I see we got a few new people on. So still kind of kind of a slow morning, to be honest. Not a whole lot of action. I'm hoping to see more here shortly. LFMD is trying to pop a little. It's still a long way to go before I'm interested, but LFMD, let's see. But it's starting to bounce now. I'm gonna grab some locates on this one. So I entered a very small position at 8, very small position. I'll enter another position at 8.95, and I will enter another position at 9.95. I got in a little bit before 50%, but that's all right. I entered such a small position, literally only 100 shares, but I'm up about 80 bucks with it. But I want it to run more to like the 10 so I can enter a little bit heavier. There's just not enough. It looks nice, but with nothing else moving this morning, I'd like to see it run more. Anybody else in this one? I got in at 8.16. I'm just going to hold on to it. This is a small position. I didn't get an alert for this one because I don't think it's moving fast enough. I just saw it on the top gainers list on TradeZero. Honestly, find a lot of my plays that way, especially when I'm traveling. Of course, I don't always have my laptop open. And for y'all that don't know, you'll see me post when if you're in my circle group. You'll see that I post throughout the day, pre-market, intraday, after hours. I'm not staring at my computer all day. I would go crazy doing that. Even this is tough, the live streams, because if you've seen interviews with me, I only trade via my mobile up until recently when I started live streaming, because I have a hard time just staring at a screen. But I have my alerts set on throughout the day. I work from home mostly. Between the real estate and the cannabis industry I'm in, most of my work is done remotely. So I'll usually just have my scanner on my personal computer. And if the criterias are met, it sends out an alert. And if I'm free and available, which I try to make myself during the trading day, for the most part, obviously working on other things, but I'll stop what I'm doing and look and see what the alert is. So again, I'm not staring at a computer all day, but if an alert goes off, it'll grab my attention. I'll pull up the stock real quick, and decide if it's something I'm interested in or not. So it's looking like LFMD is struggling to get back above 8. LFMD. I think I said that backwards. It's actually a pretty big market cap, bigger than I usually trade. It's 271, so maybe I should take profit, because the reason why I don't like trading over 100 million market cap ideally is because, and it's only up 25%. I'm just gonna get out. Take a little small win. I got a little too excited on that one. Is they just grind better than the smaller market caps. Because what I really like is the stocks I was showing you from yesterday that we banked on. I like the ones that just shoot up rapidly. Um, so I'm out of it now. Um, I like the ones that just like shoot up rapidly within like uh, a few candles. Like I was saying, like PRTG, I think was a pretty good one yesterday that did that. Yeah, this is what I like to see, just strong candles like this. Let me turn off VWAP, where it's just like booming. And IVF was another good one, I think. Yeah, this is the action I like, where it's just starts just extremely bullish, just massive green candles, and then it eventually just gives out. Yeah, no, this one is a quarter of a billion market cap, so I'll probably stay away from it because it'll probably just keep grinding up slower and slower. But it looks like a nice move, but it's really not. It's still only up, I think, 20, 25, 30%. Did anybody take WLDS? Or are y'all like me waiting? Yeah, same. And and most of y'all know that are on here. I mean, I can't see who's technically on here, but if you're from the group, you know I really like the pre-market. When they flirt with the pre-market high or try to test it when the market opens, we could definitely see that with WLDS. It'll try to make a new high, then fail. I would add heavy there. And again, not financial advice. I'm saying what I would do. Um, I'm going to, if it does, I'm going to add if it gets in this 250 range, honestly. But if it gets up to 280, 290, I'm going in pretty heavy. The reason I'm comfortable doing that is because even if it breaks a new high and stays bullish, it's a relatively small loss. But if it rejects like they often do, you can make quite a bit because it'll come back to the 200 moving average at some point, but more than likely during intraday, it'll fall back down. I am fiending for an alert right now. My goodness, I want to trade something, but can't force it. Just because you want to trade something doesn't mean you should hop in. But I've usually traded a little bit more by now. But between the internet issues this morning and not a lot moving, that's how it is sometimes. I need to run downstairs. I'm stepping away for like 30 seconds, a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, no alerts. Should have stayed on longer yesterday. I saw that I ended up only live streaming for an hour and 20 minutes. I should have stayed on and watched the plays play out yesterday because they all played out beautifully. Had a nice day. Few people in the group made money, so excited to see that. This is wild. Not a lot going on. That's why you got to take advantage when the opportunities are there. There were so many yesterday. Like, look at these plays. I know I've already talked about them, but if anybody hopped on recently, these are like our A plus setups. And this one might not be A plus, but this is definitely an A setup, where they just spike hard under 100 million market cap. BS news. This was just a ticker name change, and we know that fundamentally nothing has changed with this company. They're in a poor cash position. They have a history of stock splits, low institutional ownership. Like, these are the ones that get us excited. Same thing with INEO yesterday. Just a beautiful, this is a 5-minute candle. It went up from basically $1 to 250. This, or actually no, it went up to 350. In 2 candles, and then just comes right back down. Falls under VWAP, never could recover. So these are like the ideal plays. But the three main trades I usually take are these pops. I'll try to short the top or wait for it to fall under VWAP, and then when the market opens, it'll test the pre-market high often. I think TIVC was a good example of one that did that recently, where it popped in the pre-market. Yeah, this is a perfect example. So something like this, I love playing these as well, where it'll pop in the pre-market, and even if you miss that initial entry, a lot of times when the market opens, it will test the pre-market high, and what usually happens is it fails and then it falls below the VWAP and never recovers. So these are kind of the three main plays I play. So like I was saying, WLDS, there's a good chance if it still hangs around and doesn't fade away by 9:30, it'll at least test this level and potentially this level, but not guaranteed. And the reason why I really like these tests of pre-market highs is because I can go pretty heavy right here, knowing that even if it breaks and holds, I will take a little loss, but if I get it right, the risk versus reward. So the risk is $1 max, and not even that, but let's just say $1. But the reward is, if it goes back to here, it didn't, but technically the reward is like $8. And I ended up getting out about right here once it started forming like a line, but made pretty good on this play last week. So for those of you that are new, that's kind of the three shorts I look for. That's how I have the 90% win rate. Is all these plays right here. Pre-market, test, the initial spike like I was showing you, and then the fall below VWAP. So that's basically the three trades I make. I'll have to trim down this video if I release it live. This has been kind of brutal. Surprised we didn't see any PRs from 7 to 8:30 or any decent ones. The only thing that's really moving is HIMS, which is way bigger than I typically short. Yeah, it's 6.3 billion. Yeah, not interested. I'm actually surprised WLDS is not popping more because nothing else is moving. Like, usually when nothing else is moving, the one that is moving gets all the attention. So, is it the overall market? How's it looking today? Looks like the stock market's going to open red today, but nothing crazy. So I got two questions. Do you look at any strategies in large caps or futures? Not that you have to, but curious. Um, no, not really. The only thing I do with large caps, so I haven't really elaborated on this much. So when I take my profits from uh, shorting, and most of y'all know I have quite a bit of real estate that I use. So I'll purchase real estate with the profits and I'll convert them to short-term rentals and cash flow those is the, that's the plan. And I get to take paper losses on these properties because of bonus depreciation. So it offsets my trading winnings. And then I also do covered calls. So that's the only large cap trades I make. So I'll have like an Amazon, buy. I basically do the wheel strategy where I sell puts, and then if I get assigned, I sell calls. And I can make anywhere from 25 to 50% return, and sometimes even north of that. I did SoFi last year, and I think I had like an 80% return on it because it's so volatile. Um, so I'll do just covered calls and stuff. And the wheel strategy where I'll sell puts, then if I get assigned, I'll sell calls, and then if it hits that, I'll let go of the position. So that's the only thing I really do with large caps. Because if I don't feel like I have much of an edge, I don't force it. And Katie, the three setups you mentioned, which one is your favorite? It's a good question. So the adrenaline rush of the initial spike is always so fun to play. However, it's the most high risk. And when I've taken big losses, it's been those plays. So I would probably say the pre-market, or sorry, the 9:30 to 10 o'clock, where they test the pre-market high, because it has a large failure rate where it gets rejected, and when it gets rejected, it goes down hard. But I like the fall below VWAP strategy as well. You know, once it falls under the VWAP line, it's hard for it to recover, because even this one, WLDS, like once it fell below VWAP, it still hasn't made a new high. Like, yes, it did bounce pretty hard. And that's why whenever it falls below VWAP, I do like to enter a position, because sometimes they keep going down, but it'll usually only be half the position. I'll wait for another pop. Because when it falls below VWAP, that's almost just like confirmation that it's getting bearish. And then when it pops again, that's where I enter the other half of my position to increase my average, or average up. And then I'll let it fade. But obviously, like I said, I was having internet issues this morning, so I wasn't in this one, but this would have been a good play. Especially if you caught this pop right here, which I know myself, I would have jumped in on that. But so that's kind of how I look at it. Yeah, so that's a good question, Alex, because it is the I love the wheel strategy. It's so low key too. Like, I open them. I usually do weekly or bi-weekly, so like I'll open on a Monday, close on a Friday, or open on a Monday, close on a Friday, 2 weeks from um, the day I open it. I don't do like monthly and quarterly. Like, I know it's quote unquote safer to do that, but your return is so much less. So I usually do weeklies and bi-weeklies. And yeah, I did get some assignments through the recent downturn, but I'm all green in those now, though, since it popped back up. So that is kind of the downside of the wheel strategy and selling puts. You do get assigned. That's why I don't over leverage. You know, I always make sure I have the capital to buy these stocks. And the key is it's stocks I already want to own. So, like I was saying, Amazon is a big one I do. NVIDIA is a one that I do. So even if I get assigned those, I'm not that sad about it. You know what I mean? I already wanted these stocks anyways. But yes, the most recent downturn and then the fluctuations up, I got to had to sell my calls for some of the positions. So yeah, it's not ideal during environments like this. They do best when, I mean, the premium is higher when there's volatility. So I was making quite a bit on the premium, but I was getting assigned more often than I did, and I was having to give up shares more often than I'm used to, but the premium made up for it. But I love it because, like I said, depending on the ticker, I average like 30, well, probably let's just say 25 to about 50% return on most of these yearly. And then if it's a volatile, like SoFi, like I was saying last year, I did really well on that one. And Kimfo doesn't even track this because I do it personally. Well, and I do it through a different broker, interactive broker, but I should link it up to. I need to open a new one under the trading LLC, the Bear Wall Street, and do it under it. Um, but yeah, no, it's pretty low key strategy. And even if you get assigned, it's stocks that just make sure it's stocks that you want to have long term. So even if it does tank, if you make it a long hold, it doesn't wreck your account. But yeah, I probably lost a little money on the recent downturn with that strategy, because then when I was selling calls, it wasn't as high as it previously was. So like, I lost money in the actual like position, but the premiums were so fat that it made up for it. Because as you know, what is it, the theta or delta? I forget which one. I'm not big into options, but um, the one that fluctuates based on IV, um, the premium from these massive moves, these tariffs and stuff, they were like 3x what they usually are sometimes. So the premiums were very nice. Yeah, no, that's about the only options I recommend because there, and I'm not throwing shade at people who trade options. There's people that make good money trading options, but I like for my options to be a little more low key like that. I prefer to sell them instead of buy them. But like I was talking about, I was in Hertz. I sold or I bought puts and made a little money on it. But I usually don't buy. I usually am the one selling. Um, and for the profits I make, I'll send it to that account and just find a stock I like and do a wheel strategy. A lot of people don't talk about it though, but it's a pretty consistent way to make premium. And yeah, you got to know what you're doing, but it's not that complicated. I would look into it though. Man, this is crazy. I'm talking about options and wheel strategy. So slow this morning. But it is something worth talking about because honestly, if you follow my strategy, like I've shared my stats numerous times, like um, you can make good money shorting if you're disciplined. And then after you make that money, what do you do with it to keep growing the money? So the first step is making the money. Second step is how do you keep growing it? And the third step for me is offsetting taxes too. I know that's a controversial topic, but um, if I can get away with paying less taxes legally, obviously I'm not going to ever do anything sketchy, but legally, if there's a way that you can offset your taxes, I feel like it's dumb not to. And in real estate, you can definitely do that. In the United States, obviously, I'm talking about strategies in the United States. Internationally, obviously, it's a lot different strategies. But the way I look at it is like I can pay the IRS a lot of money, or I can buy a property. OMH is popping. I'm about to enter it. Oh my goodness, I missed the entry. I didn't get my locates. Why are they not?
OMH.
I'm about to cry. Yeah, I missed that one. They wouldn't give me my locates for whatever reason. I keep getting rejected. Well, that's a little disappointing. That doesn't happen often. Did anybody else get in this one? It's offering me the shares, but then it's saying that they're no longer available. Man, that frustrates me. Oh, now it's offering, so, but now it's the prices went up substantially. Did anybody get in this one so I can be jealous? Yeah, the locates are outrageous now. It's definitely a supply and demand issue, especially with these small caps. That's why I try to get locates very early, even if I'm not certain I'm going to enter the position, because I can usually get 1,000 shares for $4, and I'd rather not use those shares and lose $4 than to wait and get those same shares and now they're $120 for 1,000, because that's what OMH is last time I checked. Because in my circle group, I do notice locate fees are talked about quite a bit, and rightfully so. It's part of an expense. But if it's my recommendation is try to get them as early as you can. And if it's an A+ setup, obviously I can tell you how to trade. Not a financial advisor. This is just educational. But my strategy is I don't mind paying up to 2-3% locate fees as long as it's an A+ setup. Like, would I take a 2% fee on this one? No, I don't want to do that. But if it popped to 350 and was hanging out there for a second, and I thought I could get my locates quick enough, maybe. But I didn't end up entering this one. Very small position. Like I'm up $70 because it didn't hit my 292 entry and my 345 entry. Just hit my first little entry, but one of those mornings. Did this steal attention away from WLDS? No, it's kind of just still hanging around the $2 range. And see, now the locates are only $3 for 100 shares for OMH. It's crazy how much they fluctuate. So I grabbed a few more. Just in case this thing wants to pop again. So I have an entry on OMH. So I'm in it already, but I have another entry at 295, or yeah, I think 295, and another entry at 345. If it wants to get back up there, I'll short it down, but I'm not really confident in this one. I'm not confident, meaning not confident it's going to get back up there. Anyways, but back to what I was saying though, but yeah, just part of this group, obviously we talk a lot about shorting, that's all we talk about, but as this beta circle group develops, I want to make it kind of all inclusive, show some of the tax strategies I use as well. Um, Obviously, I'm not a tax advisor either, but again, education. I show y'all what I do, and y'all can do what fits y'all best because it's one of the things we're not taught a lot about in the States is taxes, and how to offset taxes. Because a lot of people that do have profitable years trading, I mean, that's a good problem. But when it's tax season, some people get rocked with taxes because they didn't plan appropriately. So if you're having a good year, it's probably worth talking to somebody or doing some research on how you can get that tax bill down. So OMH is looking like it's popping a little bit. I'm hoping it gets to my 2. Boom. Okay, now I'm in it. Even bigger, which is still small. I'm only in 500 shares. I'm not good. I haven't learned TradingView that well. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted. So as you can see, this is a piece of crap company that just falls straight down. Um, but I wanted to see if there were any like key levels to look out for. I like looking at my levels on Webull app. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's just because I'm used to it. But so anyways, this thing could definitely get back over here. So it did on what was this? Earlier this month on the 21st, it got up to like 375. So this could get back up there. So I have another entry at 345. I'll probably set another one a little before 375, go a little heavier. And then if it breaks and holds, when I say break, I refer to 5-minute candle breaking above a new high and then closing. That's the key. A lot of times they'll wick above it and then they'll fall right back down. But I might go a little heavier around that area because one, it's got to prove it can make a new high, and two, it's fighting this moving average as well. So I think it would be a decent spot to go a little bit heavier. But yes, I'm in it. 500 shares, small position because it's technically only up 45% right now. I'll be honest, I'm probably jumping a little too early because I want to trade this morning. But I don't think it's a bad entry, but it's not an A+ entry. I should let it get up a little bit more, but like I said, another entry around 345, and then I'm about to locate a few more shares and probably do another one at 365 heavy if it wants to get there. Yeah, the locate fees aren't too bad. $3 for 100 shares is what I'm getting quoted. So I'm gonna grab a few more for that 365 range. All green candles so far, so it might make it up there. Let's go. Alex and Katie both in. Again, not trying to convince y'all to get in. I'm just sharing what I do. But it's nice to see y'all in. Good. I'm glad my thesis made sense, Katie. Alex in at 100 shares on this. Have another at PMH. I don't know if I even looked at PMH today. Oh, pre-market. I thought it was a ticker name. Got it. Pre-market high. Makes sense. I was like, what is PMH? Sounds like a medical condition. So I'm in the green with OMH. Not much, because like I said, I only have 500 shares. About $50 in the money right now. So I'm going to obviously let this one play. Hope it falls below VWAP. Yeah, no, I was dumb for a second. I thought PMH was a ticker name. I like PMH. I'm gonna start using that. Pre-market high. But anyways, in the money a little with OMH. That's the only position I'm in, sadly. And I will re-enter at PMH, pre-market high. Because that's smart, Alex. That's again, not to give advice, can't do that, but that's the best entry, in my opinion. Just waiting for it to get to the pre-market high. Because even if it breaks new highs, the loss is small compared to if you try to enter here, it could be a decent loss, but 500 shares is small for me and my account for the most part. So, but when it gets up to pre-market highs, I'm gonna try to get it to more around 1,500, 2,000 shares. Hope that makes sense. And again, I can't really see who all, like the names besides the people that are commenting, who are on live right now that are in my circle group. But if you're not in my circle group, here's my little plug. It's free. Everything's free. The alerts, the live streaming, the watch list. I'm just trying to build a short community because I was bad about learning things on my own, and there was quite a learning curve. 2 years of not being profitable. The last 3 years have been profitable, and it's been mostly shorting. And I am trying to build a community, a free community, so where we can all share ideas. Because there's a few, including Alex, who's on this call, Martin, Adrian, a few others that have posted plays that I have actually entered, and they worked out. So I don't catch all the moves, so it's nice to be in a community where others are looking for the same things you are and sharing and helping each other grow. So if you want to enter the group, I think the link is in the description. Like I said, it's free. There's nothing to upsell you once you get there. It's all free. And again, like I said yesterday, will it always be free? Not sure, but if you enter before I start charging for, because I might charge for like one-on-one consultations and things like that because my time's valuable, but or if there ever is a monthly fee, everybody that's got in before then, I'll grandfather in or something. But as of right now, I just want to build a large community of shorts where we can help each other grow because shorts have a bad reputation and I'm not really sure why. A lot of longs act like we're the ones that drive the prices down when a lot of times it's the longs selling simultaneously at the same time that drives the price down. So, or maybe it's because we make money. I don't know. Maybe that's why we're hated. But the point is, I'd like to build a group of shorts that focus on the same thing, learn from each other. Plug over. I think this is the part where I'm supposed to say like and subscribe to. Hanging around the $3 range. Kind of forgot about WLDS. How's it doing? Man, it's none of these tickers are moving for low float, low market cap stocks. These things are not moving much. Let's see if OMH, it might try to stay above VWAP here. That's what it seems to be doing. Every time it wicks below VWAP, it comes right back. So it's still only up about 46%. It's kind of stuck between $3 and the VWAP. So let's see who wins this fight. I kind of want it to stay bullish, to be honest, because I want a bigger entry because there's not a lot available this morning. So I want to see something run. Ideal scenario is this pops up to pre-market high and then just dives down. And there's a good chance that will happen. That's what most of them do. So might be 9:30 before that happens, 9:45, but the plan is to live stream until about 10. It's usually when my boss calls me for my W-2 job. And yes, you might be asking why I still have my W-2 job. They gave me a deal that I could not turn down. So I actually put in my notice and they countered it. So I work remote. It's dumb not to work the job. They work with my hours. So and if you're in the group, y'all kind of know what it is. Like I lead retail operations for a cannabis company. I actually like the job, but I make enough trading now that I don't really need it. But um, between working remote, having a good boss, and offering me something that was hard to turn down, I am still there. But eventually I will separate myself from my W-2. But right now, it still makes sense to have it. So two OMH looks like it's wanting to fall below VWAP this time. Might make a little money on this if it fails. What is the diagnosis, Alex? And for y'all that don't know as well, I actually came from the medical field. I was RN, but after the brain injury, which if you saw my Kimfo profile or interview, you know what I'm talking about. But if not, long story short, I had a brain injury 7 or 8 years ago, I think now. Didn't work for over a year, lost some of my memory, never made it back to working as a nurse due to a few reasons with my cognitive performance during that time. But I got into the cannabis industry and trading and found other passions. But I do not remember what PMH is. Maybe get your own dispensary with the trading profits. It's not a bad idea, Alex. I've actually thought about that. But the markets I like Florida. I live in Florida. It's very hard to get into this market, but maybe one day. 'Cause I think I'm actually pretty good at what I do, honestly. Like we have had a lot of success, but the cannabis industry is changing a lot. So it's one of those industries, it's almost still like a startup because between the regulations and all the changes, it's a lot to keep up with. PMH stands for Progressive Macular Hypomel- melanosis. It's a skin condition. Okay. You know it's slow. We're dropping medical diagnoses in the chat. But thanks for looking that up. Is that what you meant earlier when you said PMH? I like when people look stuff up like that. I appreciate it. So I don't have to. I'm always that friend that's always looking up everything. And to provide a little bit more education on some of these positions I enter. So going back to the VWAP failing strategy, there's other parameters that I share in my, my circle group, more of the details, but the way I rate these tickers are kind of on a scale from like A plus, A, B plus, B, C, and I usually don't enter anything I try to avoid C's to be honest, but this might be a C or a B play since it's not up much, but something that I always pay attention to is the cash position. So their cash position, their burn rate, their institutional ownership, things like that, because that gives me more confidence that the price will tank at some point, as if it's a trash company that doesn't have money. Like obviously that's a bearish indicator. And the way you can look that up is dilution tracker. It is expensive. So, but even the free version, like I have it pulled up, so you can see the market cap, 6.6 million, float 1.26, institutional ownership is less than 1%. And this company has negative 2.9 months of cash left based on quarterly cash burn of 0.75 million a quarter, an estimated current cash position of a negative 0.7 million. So this company is it looks like they're in a financial crisis, for lack of better words. They need money. So, and as you can see, when I pulled up the daily, it's just been tanking. Like, these are the type of reasons why I short these stocks. I'm not shorting good companies. That's dumb. I short companies like this that are struggling to survive. And maybe that sounds dark to some people, but I'm not the reason why they're struggling to survive. These companies take advantage of investors. That's all they do. As you can see, this company just tanks, just tanks. It's a worthless company. And I know I'm going pretty hard about how it's a terrible company. Hopefully nobody on this call is in this company, but it is what it is. This is what they do. Then they pump the stock up, and then they dilute shareholders and they take money from you. Like, so what they do is kind of dark too, in its own manner. Especially like the biotech companies, they'll post some BS, PR, so it pumps 1,000% because they don't have any cash, and then they dilute their shareholders at the top, and it tanks. Longs lose money, and they take your money. And again, I'm not saying all these companies are bad. Like, they need money to survive. They need money to do X, Y, and Z, but a lot of them are very reckless with their cash because they know they can run an offering and dilute shareholders and take money from the market. Yahoo Finance is helpful too. And even ChatGPT, listen, I got the paid version. I had the cheap, like $20 a month one. And the reason why I said that is because some people have been getting a little bit of mixed reviews with some of the ChatGPT responses. But when I use the 4.5, I think is what it's called, 4.50 version, you can be like super real with it. Just say, hey, I'm in OMH short position. Can you tell me their cash burn rate, their cash position, institutional ownership, and whatever else you're looking for? And it will tell you. And I've cross-referenced it about 10 times and it's been right every time. So That's also another resource because it pulls it from its last quarterly earnings or whatever the last data point for it is. So don't sleep on ChatGPT, don't sleep on Yahoo Finance and Dilution Tracker. The paid version is like 600 bucks a month, or sorry, 600 a year, I think. But the free version, you can get what you need for what I'm doing. The paid version, you can see if they have any open offerings and stuff, but I can ask ChatGPT that as well. If they have any open shelf offerings, warrants, whatever, and they'll, and again, I've cross-referenced it about 10 times to just double check when I got information that I didn't think was accurate, and it was accurate every time. And if you're in my group, you also saw I did a report. So I downloaded all my TradeZero trades. That's the platform I use. I like TradeZero a lot. I do have an affiliate link in the description for TradeZero. It's a short selling broker. I think they won the best short selling broker the last 5 years. So it's not a stretch for me to say I like them. And there's some incentives for using it. But the reason why I am bringing this up is because I got it to analyze all my trades. Like I just downloaded every trade I took and got it to analyze it. And it's funny that this is the time I choose to live stream because this is my least profitable time, 7 to 9:30, because sometimes when these PR drops, I get in too early where I'm learning to be a little bit more patient with these positions, especially when they're spiking up. Like I'm comfortable with this one because it's showing weakness already, obviously, and it's below VWAP. But some of these 7 to 9:30 spikes, it's easy for them to get out of control. Where if you're willing to wake up, depending on if you're international or United States, United States is hard because 4 to 6:59 a.m. that was my most profitable trading time because the ones that pop between 4 a.m. to 6:59 almost always fade, and those ones I was showing you from yesterday were during that time frame. They just have a hard time holding their gains because they're usually pumping for BS reasons. Where if they pump between 7 to 9:30, there's usually PR, and even if it's a fluff PR, it'll still run sometimes. So my most profitable was 4 a.m. to 6:59 because those pump usually for no reason, or like I was saying yesterday, like the the this was just a ticker change, a name change. Sorry, I'm not super used to TradingView. I do everything mobile if I'm not live streaming. Am I even in the right ticker? So here's INEO from yesterday. So this one pumped at 405. These are my favorite plays. I just have a hard time waking up during this time because I am a night owl. So look at this play. It was trading for $1 and then it pumps to 350 because the ticker name changed. And I made $1,100 on this play. I should have made more, honestly. But yeah, this is what happens. They just pump for no reason, no fundamental reason, and they fall under VWAP and never recover. And this 200 moving average is like a magnet. It's like a magnet. It usually goes to that. Just like that other one I was talking about, IVF, I think is what it is. Yeah, same thing yesterday. Pumped at 435, a little bit after, was trading around 240, got up to like 550, and then just faded away. Like, look at this. People bought right here. Longs bought in this area. and now it's at 160. That's a lot of money to be made. So this is why I like shorting. I think it's easier. I'm not trying to have the most complex trading strategy. I want to just make money. That's my goal. So that's why I short. WLDS still hanging around that $2 range. Hoping at market open it pops a little. OMH still in this one, about 150 in profit right now. Kind of hoping this one would pop too, and it might. When market opens, there's a good chance it could pop to 350 and fail. Are you an LFMD? I was an LFMD, and thanks for hopping on. I was in LFMD, but it was a 250 million market cap. So that's bigger than I usually trade. I like under 100 million because these usually grind a little bit more instead of just making big moves. And this is a perfect, oh, this is a good, it's flirting with highs, so I might play around with this one. And then if it breaks this new high, I'm going to get out. But thanks for putting this on my radar. I'm not interested because so let me explain. I'm normally not interested in these because it's a 250 million market cap. But since it's trying to flirt with breaking a new high, I expected to get rejected. So I entered a position at 811 and a small position. And if it breaks new high, I'm just going to get out. But I don't really like the ones over 100 million market cap because they're usually like more legit companies. And when they pop, they have a tendency to grind up a little bit more, where the smaller market cap, they tend to just like tank. And we're kind of seeing it here. You can see it's kind of grinding up. This test of high is probably pretty important to see if it can break a new high. If it doesn't, it'll probably fail. But I entered a small position, very small position, aka 200 shares. And if it breaks a new high, I'm immediately getting out because it's a larger market cap, because these are the ones that usually grind up. They just slowly keep going up. But that's if it breaks the high, which it looks like it's struggling to do. So enter 200 shares at 811. Probably look a little spastic entering that one quick, but I love trading stocks when they flirt with pre-market highs. So I'll enter this one even though it's 250, but rule of thumb is less than 100 million market cap. And again, I'm probably a lot different than some traders. You watch live stream, like I will enter positions that I like, even if it breaks some of my rules, still have a 90% win rate, Kinfo verified, like can't forge those numbers. So I wouldn't consider myself reckless, but I have a rule of thumb, 100, less than 100 market cap, and I trade based on that 95% of the time. But every now and then, like even I was told you I bought puts on Hertz, like that's a 6 billion market cap company or something. So I'll break those rules if it's a good setup, but or if it's a slow day like today. Up about 150 in OMH. I was like at $3,000 yesterday at this point, and I'm basically, where am I at? I'm about 200 bucks today. So not much happening. And I was having internet issues earlier, so is what it is. So the market will be opening here soon. The main ones I'm keeping an eye on is obviously, since I'm in this one now, LFMD. OMH to see if it flirts with, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to get a watch list out in my circle group. Dang, let me do that real quick. See if it flirts with pre-market highs, I'll enter. Same thing with WLDS. So I already have, and this is what I do, I have entries already set, 245, 265, and 275. Small, bigger, biggest entry at the top, and then OMH. Let me make sure I set some entries on this one. I don't know if I did. Let's see. Yeah, I have some entries set for this one as well in the 345 range and then 365. And the reason I did 365 is because a few days ago it got up to 375. So I want to enter right before it gets to those highs. And if it breaks it, I will get out. But anyways, the market's about to open. Those are the main 3 plays I'm looking at. So let's have some fun this morning. Let's see if anything happens. Kind of been a boring pre-market, but let's see how the market opens. So LFMD popped up, got another entry at 819. OMH looks like it went straight to VWAP and got rejected. WLDS staying boring as usual. Jesus Christ, look at this. It's not even moving. LFMD is rejecting. This is why I entered it, just because I thought that might happen. But it could bounce at VWAP though. I'm out on LFMD. I will re-enter if it tries to get back up here again. I probably should have held on. I thought it was going to bounce on VWAP. It might fall below VWAP. OMH, it's not doing much yet. WLDS is tanking. So if you're in that one, you're making money. It'll come down to this 200 moving average. So LFMD, since I closed out of my LFMD position, I'm going to re-enter if it gets back to 819. OMH, looking like it wants to get bullish. If any of them runs, I think it'll be OMH.
OMH. JFU.
Just got an alert for JFU. I'm pulling it up.
RDIB.
And then just got another one for RDIB. Neither one of these are interesting. Dang, I should have held on to LFMD. It's tanking. Definitely more cleaner setups yesterday, that's for sure. But that's okay. We're still gonna make some money. WLDS. I would love to see this one get up to like 250, 260s. Actually, I'm glad I took profit on this one because it's only up 20% now. But yeah, I would not be surprised if this pops up to the pre-market highs. And I will be entering pretty heavy if it does. Thanks for the LFMD alert. I appreciate it. Made a little money on that one. Not much, but a little bit. Most of the money I made today, because there hasn't been much. I'm Martin. A sniper from our group. He sends out amazing alerts. I think he's shooting 100%. Martin, have you missed any calls yet? I don't think you have. Probably better than I am. But I must admit, I haven't missed very many calls either, if any. And people in my group can probably back that. Because that's the beautiful thing of shorting. So there's an opportunity if WLDS gets the VWAP, there's a very good chance it's going to reject. I like to see a bigger move than this though, like because even if you get this short at 220, write it down to $1.75. I mean, that's almost 50 cents. It's not bad, but I'm still probably going to wait to get an entry up here. And it might not ever get up there. There's a good chance it doesn't, but Martin, what are you in this morning? Or are you in anything? Yeah, WLDS, it's probably going to at least touch VWAP. For small caps and with low market caps, these are not moving a lot. Small moves. I'm used to seeing like 50-cent move on candles, dollar move on candles during this time. WLDS got rejected, kind of at that VWAP level I was talking about. It didn't make it exactly to the VWAP, that's the blue line, but looks like it rejected off of it pretty hard. I'm up about 150 bucks on, no, about 100 bucks on OMH now. I really want to see this one get to 340, 350 so I can enter heavier. But at some point today, this will be back at the 200 moving average, my guess. Still on, Martin? What are you in any positions? If y'all see anything, let me know. LFMD, like I said, I'm not in anymore, but this is a good example. See, this is why I broke my rule for a second, is because even if it's a $250 million market cap, they still respect pre-market highs. So that's why I entered. And then when it had this deep red candle, I closed out a little bit too early because I thought it would bounce off VWAP. But the point is, that was still a good, a solid move. And this is what they do a lot. They'll try to break pre-market highs. Then when it doesn't, a lot of people blame it on shorts, whatever. But this is what happens. It tries to break a pre-market high. It doesn't, gets rejected. A lot of longs freak out. They sell, drives the price down. That's my theory, at least. If you made money on it, post it in the Flex Your Gains or discussion if you want to talk about the play. So I think only I'm allowed to post in the war room, but you can post in the member alerts if it's an alert, discussion if it's something you want to talk through, or Flex Your Gains if you made some money on it. LFLD, I don't even think I saw that one today. Or I mean JFLD. Is that the right ticker name? Because I can't find it. JFLD. Double check that for me. So OMH might tank before it even tests the pre-market highs. WLDS looks like it might be giving up. See, like I was saying, it probably wouldn't be a bad entry. I said 220, but it got up to what, 215? And see, look at this. That 200 moving average is a magnet. It'll end up hitting it. So that still was a decent, almost what, 40, 50-cent move. What was that ticker you're talking about? I can't find JFLD. So the only position I'm currently in is OMH. What a boring market. That's all right. There's a lot of excitement yesterday. That's kind of how it usually works. Martin, are you in any position? I don't know if you can hear me. I see you're typing. Are you in anything right now? I saw you posted some alerts in the member alerts. Oh, you got in at you're in WLDS. You got in at 221. Oh, that's a nice entry. Let's go. Thank you for posting that. Yeah, no, for sure. OMH and WLDS. Yep. Sounds like two good plays. Oh, so you got into LFMD as well. Nice trade. And sorry, it's Andrea. I see you post a lot. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. But nice. Yeah, thanks for putting that one on my radar. I made the most money on that one today, LFMD. Sadly, there hasn't been a lot going on. But yeah, good call out. I like pre-market high tests. They usually pay well, and this one, as you can see, did as well. I just didn't enter heavy enough. Martin, I'm not sure if you heard me bragging on you earlier, but I appreciate all your member alerts. I'm not sure you missed any yet. Well, I'll probably end up closing this live stream around 10 o'clock, and the next probably a little after 10, but because there's not much going on right now. there'll be some alerts throughout the day. I'll send them out in the circle group. But boring market open for us, but I'm in OMH up around 150 bucks, nothing to write home about. Because I didn't enter very heavy. I was hoping that it would test these pre-market highs that they usually do, but today WLDS nor OMH did. LFMD did, and we entered that one, but it's a 250 million market cap, and I usually don't trust them because they're legit companies because I like to short trash. So I didn't enter very heavy, but it still respected the pre-market high. Martin said, I was not much in the market yesterday. There's an option on the aftermarket for a good trade, but I let it go. Yeah, no, Martin, I saw my boss called, so I turned my alerts off. And I missed all the after all the after hour where I muted my personal laptop. But I was up 4K yesterday, so I told myself going into after hours, like only enter if it's a beautiful setup. And there was one that I probably would have entered, but I missed it. Yeah, I hate you weren't in the market much yesterday. There was beautiful opportunities yesterday. And that's why I don't try to set like daily goals because it's all dependent on what the market gives you. I shoot for more like weekly goals, monthly goals, because if you have daily goals, like let's say my daily goal is 3K. If there's not opportunities to make 3K, then you're forcing it. So, and when you force a trade, that's usually when they go against you. So, you're right earlier, Alex. So, Hims was popping because they're working with NovoCare for a cheaper version of a weight loss drug. Um, just some macro news before I bounce. UPS 20K job cut coming as Amazon is reducing deliveries with UPS. Trump auto parts tariffs won't stack with each other's tariffs. Example, if you're paying an auto tariff, won't also require steel and aluminum tariffs. So some slight softening, but obviously still damaging. QQQ is kind of in no man's land today. Bitcoin yesterday, Bitcoin fell. So a little bit of macro news, but I don't like I was saying earlier, I don't really trade macros too much besides my will strategy. Make some passive income that way, or quote unquote passive. Yeah, I saw your yearly goals or your data, Martin. You're going to hit those too. That's been my favorite part of making this group is seeing everybody else. And this is not some like BS comment. This is legit. Like I really like seeing everyone make money off of this strategy because it's a strategy that a lot of people sleep on. But shorting, in my opinion, I'm very biased, but in my opinion, is the way to go to make consistent profits. But if any of y'all made any money on these plays, make sure to put it in the flex your gains. And if you're not in the circle group, ask yourself why you're not in the circle group. It's free. You can come in, steal all my secrets, decide you hate me, leave, and I'll just be happy you stopped by. So it's nothing to lose. We're trying to build a nice bear community, nothing to hide. It's not a complex strategy, but it's a very lucrative strategy if you don't get reckless. This might be one of the most boring openings I've seen in a long time. There was a halt on SAGT. Is that what you're saying? No, I'll play some halts. I like playing halts, honestly. I don't talk about it much because it is risky, but yeah, I love a good halt. I like them up more than this, but yeah, if this halts again in maybe like the $6 range, I should look at some levels. Is this a new stock? But yeah, I'll play halts, but I want a little bit more meat on the bones than this one. Um, because halts will usually come crashing back down. The key for me, not giving advice, this is what I do. I wait for it to get up a little bit more and then just slow entries. Just a little entry here, so maybe at $6, a little at $8, a little bit at $10, and decide where you're stopping out at if it does get out of control. I like these key psychological levels like 10. It's always hard for things to get, break through like 10, but you're not too interested in this one yet. But if it starts halting up again, getting a little bit more range on it, I might look at it. So thanks for putting this one on my radar. Yeah, no, Katie, the plan is to cover that one at the 200 EMA. This one's just so incredibly boring though right now. After I close this live stream in a few minutes, I'll tell you what I usually do. I'm gonna set an alert so I don't have to stare at my screen. I'm gonna set an alert at 3:55 to let me know if it breaks a new high so I can get back to the computer. And then I will set a cover order probably around 2:20. And just check it periodically throughout the day. 2:21 actually. That's usually the numbers I take profit at. So the best play was WLDS Glad you were able to, a few of y'all were able to get in this one. It's going to come down to this 200 moving average. OMH, I think this will turn out to be a good play. I still am hoping it tests pre-market's highs. I'm going to go in heavy here if it does. And then, so this one unhalted. Let's see what it does. If it gets back to that 550 range, I'll enter, but I'm not sure if it will. About a 60 million market cap. Yeah, I got some locates. I put a short order at 545. If it gets up there, cool. If it doesn't, no big deal. The locates were cheap. But anyways, I'm probably going to wrap up the live stream. A little bit slower day today. Yesterday, obviously, was a lot more exciting. I was up probably about 3K at this point. Today, I'm up a couple $100 because there wasn't a lot of action. But definitely one of the slower market opens, but that's okay. Hope you learned something. And as usual, hope to see you in the circle group. Like and subscribe. Join us in our circle group. We have some pretty good calls in there, and not even from me. Some of the traders that are in there have some incredible calls, and we all trade a very similar shorting strategy. So, good place to learn. And you can even look back at how lucrative this strategy is. Earlier this month, I did a 25 to 50K challenge, was able to complete it in 13 days. So able to flip an account from 25 to 50, 100% return. Obviously, I was risking a little bit more to do that, but it is one of those strategies that you can make a lot of money doing as long as you respect your, risk. Because shorting, the only downside to shorting is once they do go bullish, it's easy to get out of control. So you just got to make sure you respect the stock, get out when it goes against you, because majority of them are going to go your way. And on that note, Boss Man's calling me. See y'all next time.